Here we go. It is Cooper Mays, one of my favorite times of the week, visiting with an all-time fan favorite. Coop, also, looks like you got a fresh dude. Did you just get trimmed up like me?
Nah, man, this is just it's growing back in right now. Sometimes I cut it so short it kind of looks fresh a lot.
Yeah,
So
looks
fair
tight.
enough.
I like
I
it.
I appreciate it though.
Be- Best looking center in the SEC. There's no question about it.
There we go, man.
I like it. I feel secure in me, so I don't mind to compliment you being a good looking guy. All right, he is Cooper Mays, the show represented, and the show brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. City Heat and Air, 50 years in East Tennessee. Integrity matters, and it is Tennessee Georgia week. Needless to say, Coop, this is a big one, and I'm sure you know that. But how important is it to carry the same sort of preparation into this game and not perhaps get too high early in the week?
I think you said it perfectly. I think it's pretty important. I mean, at the end of the day, you're playing people and not the logo and the organization or whatever. So us just doing our job at a high level and just doing the ordinary the best we can.
You're also not playing history. But some of the players may be aware that Tennessee hasn't beaten Georgia since 2016. Do you put that out of your mind? Is it something you'd like to right the ship on, or kind of does that weigh into your preparation at all?
I can't, I say this pretty often. I can't speak for everybody, but um, no, I don't really think about stuff like that personally.
Gotcha.
Maybe
Now,
maybe for like during my duration here or the player's duration, you probably think about stuff like that. Like I haven't beat these guys in 2 years or whatever. But um, I don't think you think back to past from when you were at the school for sure.
that makes sense. So, you guys have proven the ability to beat all of your rivals. That is Alabama and Florida, which was a bit more difficult at different times. How important is it to beat a Georgia? This is your last go at them, just for you personally to know that nobody had your number throughout your career.
Um, I I think it would be pretty cool. I don't really think about it that way either as much, but it's really important. I don't know about that as much, but it's really important for what we want to go do and what our goals are, and that's some added stuff on top of it.
What does it say about your team that you knew all the goals were still ahead of you after that Arkansas loss? But it's one thing to know that, it's another thing to get down and hope that. But you guys, your play has improved every week. What does that say about this team?
I think it just speaks to our commitment and our I don't know about what a word would be, maybe persistence. It shows our cloth, as who we are as people and players and teammates. I don't think anybody has blinked about any mistakes we've had or any negative points during the season or whatever. I don't think anybody gets down on themselves. I think we kind of come closer as a team, and I think we kind of rise our play more and more because of that commitment to that.
I have a habit of staring at the trenches because I respect a lot of what you guys do. And I see a guy in Lance Hurd that was beat up at the beginning of the year and really seems to be coming into his own. How would you describe his improvement, his play this year?
I would say it's been in like really a huge bright spot of our offense, and just really proud of him, and super super proud really because that's a guy that you know came in every day. Like I said, works on getting better. Doesn't complain at all. He's a young guy, and I'm sure he received a lot of criticism and stuff earlier on in the season. But it's this is a tough league, and it's hard to be successful on a week in, week out basis. And he's a guy that didn't blink an eye when he had some tougher times, and he just worked. So super super proud of him, and super cool to see him improve. And he's got a lot of great right, a lot of great ball left in his career at Tennessee, and he'll be whatever he wants to be.
Yep, I've been very impressed. One of the guys I gotta ask you about, but I don't want to put you in a position because all injuries come through Josh Heupel, and I definitely respect that. But how much do you get asked about Nico and his health and whether or not he's going to play?
People don't really ask me as much. I don't really, you know me. I mean, not I guess not a lot of people know me, but I'm not out and about very much. So
Yeah, you're
people don't get the opportunity to, I guess. But I like to keep my circle small, and I do a lot of football, and then I come home and just hang out.
Yeah, and I know too. There's a big difference in my generation with head injuries, and if you can just kind of talk about in general how you as players look at those, because back in my day it was your bell got run back out there, that sort of thing. But it's different now. You guys have to be mindful of the long term effects.
Yeah, I mean, definitely this a serious concern, I guess, in football nowadays, or kind of when I was not as much it seems like anymore, but for definitely during a time probably when I was in high school, it seemed like the biggest issue in football. So, um, yeah, gotta be mindful of stuff like that, and gotta be cautious, I guess.
Yep, I think it was the Will Smith movie that really got people
Yeah,
going.
that was probably the biggest part of it for sure.
That was so, and I don't want to take it lightly at all, but maybe that was just a good news topic at the time and a good talking point. It, what do you think of Gaston Moore? Because I think that's a guy that we don't know a lot. But what do you? How would you describe him as a person, as a player?
Super, I mean, as a person, super cool dude. Like, I mean, just real everyday dude that you would like to hang out with and kick it with. Super cool, funny, and consistent too. Like, no exception in the building. Like, kind of everybody's the same all the time. You got to be in our program, and as a football player, I mean, that kind of bleeds into it. Like, comes into work with the right attitude every day, and just tries to get better every chance he gets. Really like how he, his confidence, and I feel like we try to probably do a good job of hyping him up too. So I love when he comes out there and he gets to play.
Yeah, he must get excited as well to go out there and play. Again, I don't want to get into Nico's availability or lack thereof, but um does he approach the week any differently when there may be a hope or a glimmer that he might be a little bit more a part of the offense during a game?
I hope not. I mean, I hope the theory is you practice every game like you're going to be, the guy, even if you're not the guy. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully not, but I'm from what I know about Gaston, and what I've learned about him over the past few years, I'm sure he does his best at all times.
What does he do really well? What do you like about him when he's on the field and commanding the huddle?
I think he operates at a high level. Like, I mean, I guess that's not something you can quantify or whatever, but he's a guy that's been in the offense for a basically his whole career. I guess it's 4 or 5 years now. Um, just knows how to operate and make things happen, and make sure everything's going smooth in our offense. So I would say that's what I like. It helps me, for sure.
Well, given that Nico's just a second year player, are there things that Gaston maybe comprehends about the offense that even Nico doesn't because he hasn't been in it as long?
I mean, it could be possible. I don't know anything about quarterback, but I mean, for just the pure aspect of him being around Mackenzie Milton, Hendon Hooker, then Joe, and now he's hanging out with Nico. Getting to learn from all those guys. I mean, I'm sure he's picked up some stuff that Nico hasn't learned on the way. I don't really know, but you know,
Gotcha. Hey,
um,
take me back. This is a few years when your brother Cade decided to go to Georgia, and I thought at the time, given where Tennessee was, and we don't have to dredge up that history, that the move made a lot of sense. But what was that like for your family that your dad had gone to Tennessee, and that I mean, you obviously wanted to be a Tennessee guy eventually. What was that time like? I know that your family was under a lot of pressure from outside people in recruiting.
I mean, really, it didn't really matter as much to us. Like, truly, my family, like, they're kind of the same as the way I operate. Like, just not big on listening to outside voices, but at the same time, we wanted Cade to be happy and successful wherever that was. Didn't really matter where it was, but so that's all that really mattered.
And what was it like when he came back? He transferred to Tennessee. I mean, that had to be really cool for you.
It was great for me. Like, personally, I got to benefit from it a lot. Like, having my big brother there that knew so much more about football and kind of knew how it was done and knew how it was done at a high level. So being able to see him and learn from him or listen to him, kind of just or just be around him, what I'm saying, just having my big brother there. So um maybe not even much as football, but just kind of in life, I benefited from it.
Yep. And you've obviously turned into a heck of a player. Let's talk about Georgia's defensive front. Do they, now that we're deep into the season, you faced a lot of defensive fronts. Do they remind you of any team that you guys have played? Can you kind of describe what they do from a formation side up philosophical standpoint? What do they like to do?
What would they like to do? Really, they just like to create havoc. Kind of whatever way they can get to it or whatever way they can make that happen. That's kind of what they try to do. They do it a lot out of odd front, some out of even front. They have a lot of good stuff in their exotic blitz game and exotic pressures. They kind of just mix. They have everything. So
Do they like to line up more in a three down front or a four down front?
more often probably three.
Okay. How much better equipped do you feel like you guys are to handle that than perhaps at the very beginning of the season?
As in comparison to beginning
Mhm.
of the season,
Yeah.
well, we played like um I guess 7 games of it now. So I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, that we're definitely 7 games better at it. Getting to see it that much.
And then they've got a guy in Nazir Stackhouse who's going to play the middle. He's a big dude, 6'3", 320 pounds. How would you describe his play?
He's super solid. He's a guy that I've known him since probably my senior year of high school. We ended up doing some camps together and stuff, and competing against each other. So I've known him for a while. He's a cool dude.
So, what's it like when you know an opponent outside of the game? Do you talk during the game, or is it all business? What's that like?
Kind of just depends how tired you are. Probably, in my opinion, like I don't mind to talk to people. I talk to people usually. I mean, like not now, probably more than ever. I probably talk more during the game. But it's not. I don't know. It's not as much malicious, probably.
So, have you ever been? Has there ever been a point that you've just been an all-out trash talker that you got mad and your mouth was just running?
Um, I think probably Vanderbilt my freshman year is probably the only game. That was before we started doing the tempo stuff with hype because I was that was back with Pruitt. Um, I was playing beside Trey and Jerome Carvin.
Yeah.
So Jerome was on that type of time, and I'm trying to match any type of time like that.
So I know you could probably can't share some of the things you said, but what kind of yapping were you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like you, just trash talking, man. I don't know,
So,
just every day.
when somebody else trash talks, does that ever get into your head, or do you think it? You seem like the type of guy that thinks it's kind of silly.
It really just depends the type of energy it is. Um, like I felt like Oklahoma was like chippy and like it was like there was like it was like trash talk, like it was like real. It kind of felt like it was real. So like I can get into that more. Sometimes you can tell when people are trying to like talk to you and get you riled up and just say some stuff that's pretty like out of, I don't know. Some people say some stuff that's just completely outlandish to me, and like I'm the first one. Like if you say something to me, like if you say you've been like beating me all game, like if you have, I would probably admit it. You know what I'm saying? Like I would just be man enough to be like, yeah, bro. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like I would just tell you, but like if you haven't, like it doesn't make much sense to me. So like if some like people have told me this year, like I've been beating you all game, and I'm sitting here and I was just kind of like, are you being like genuine? Like, are you being real with me? Like, because I don't think you made a tackle on me all game. Like, truthfully, I would tell I would tell you if you did. So I don't really know. It's kind of confusing to me sometimes. Like, I understand probably some people need it to get in their zone, but I don't. It's not me. I like to breathe better.
I like to breathe better. The Vol Report brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Integrity matters, over 50 years in East Tennessee. And when it comes to city heating and air conditioning, it's not some fly-by-night HVAC company that could say, hey, you need a whole new unit that could cost tens of thousands of dollars. It's more along the lines of they will give you the proper diagnosis, which could just be a part or coolant. And that's what you get from City Heating and Air Conditioning, where integrity matters. Do you remember the last time you've given up a sack?
Yeah, I do.
How long ago has that been?
It was my junior year against Alabama. The time we beat them when we stormed the field.
Okay. And that's a pretty darn good streak. That's 2 years.
Yeah, it's decent. We can't really talk about it. I'd probably rather we wait to talk about it because I don't really feel like
Okay.
I just don't really feel like talking about it, you know?
We'll let that go. I don't want to jinx you at all
Yeah,
for
right.
sure. But just so you know, Tennessee Sports Information puts out stats like that. So I'm not just throwing them out there. But
For sure.
at this point in your development, what have you improved the most at in your last couple of years? Has it been run blocking, pass blocking, or just both?
I would say as of recently, probably that like my outside zone stuff. I would say like my outside zone stuff on film has gotten better. Um, and I would say my pass pro too, probably. I'm more accurate with my hands and probably give less ground than ever.
So is there a way you can quantify how much better you are, say 8 games deep this year as opposed to the same time last year?
Probably no way to quantify it, honestly.
Significant though, when you see your play?
I think I'm doing some good stuff. Like I think I think I've done a lot better than what I have in the past.
Yep. No, that was pretty good to start with. The Ball Report with Cooper Mays brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. City Heat and Air. The last thing I just want to leave you with, given the fact that you have the tie with your brother at Georgia, is there any special aspect of this game to you and the Mays family, or is it just another game?
I would say it's probably more like just another game than something like super special, and I don't know.
Would you tell me if it was super special?
Yeah.
I believe you. I believe you. He is Cooper Mays. I'm Dave Hooker. Again, the Vol Report brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. This has been a presentation of Off the Hook Sports.